Hello sweeties! Today I have some summer fruit nail art to share with you that I'd say is in the easy to moderate level. I first start by painting my index finger a bright watermelon pink, my middle finger a pastel orangish yellow, my ring nail a bright red, and my pinky a bleached greenish yellow. I'll list all of the polishes and products in the description box below if anybody wants to know what I'm using. We're first going to start with what I think is probably the easiest of all of the designs, which is the strawberry. We start with the red base, and then using either green acrylic paint or green nail polish, I paint on all the little leaves from the top of the strawberry. Using black acrylic paint and a dotting tool, I dab on some seeds. Now moving on to the pinky, which is a kiwi. We start with our muted yellowish green base. Once that's dry, we take a clover green and start dabbing it onto the center of the nail, and before that dries, dab another quick dot of the same color of your base, and you start dragging it down almost like you're kind of trying to do a water marble effect, or in this case it kind of looks more like tie-dye. You want to drag it so it gives you that center of the kiwi where the different color greens are all blended together. In here I'm using a toothpick because I feel like the tip of a toothpick is a bit smaller than my smallest dotting tool, so I wanted to have really tiny seeds, so I decided to use the toothpick instead. It didn't make them perfectly round like I would have preferred, but I still think it looks better than if I had used my dotting tool. Next up is our index nail, which is for the watermelon. I started with the bright watermelon pink, and then once that was dry, I took a damp makeup sponge and sponged on that same pink, mixed with a coralish pink. I do this so it kind of mimics the inside of a real watermelon, where right next to the skin you have that whitish pink that bleeds into the bright pink, and I'm hoping that's what I achieved here. Once the gradient has fully dried, it's time to paint on the green skin. A real watermelon skin has different shades of green on it, so I use two different greens here and start by painting a crescent moon shape on the side of my nail. Using a brighter green, I did sort of the same thing I did with the kiwi center, and I blended two greens together to mimic those little zigzag patterns you see on a real watermelon. And last, it's time to add some seeds. I first dot on a little black, and then I take my paintbrush and drag it down to create a teardrop effect, and I do this for all of the seeds. You'll see while I'm painting it that I kind of had a bit of a hard time here, and it's because of the angle I have my hand when I'm trying to paint on camera, so I had to come off of camera to try to do it, and again, they still weren't perfect, but I'm happy with them. And finally, we have the orange, which is on my middle nail. After the yellowish orange dries, I then dab a little bit of white acrylic on the top of my nail to create this half circle, so it's the center of the orange. Continuing with the white, I paint little lines and another outline of a half circle to create the individual slices of the orange. Here I'm sort of dry brushing with my paint to create a little bit of texture inside each individual slice. Here using a very sheared orange jelly, which I created myself by adding a couple orange drops of nail polish into a clear top coat. I then paint on 1 to 2 coats over that white. I didn't want the white to be super prominent because that's not what it looks like inside a real orange, and I'm hoping that's how it comes across. And last, we paint the skin of the orange, as well as use the dry brush technique again around the whites of the orange to create a little bit more texture. May have gone a little bit more detailed with the orange than the other 3 fruit nails. That was not my intention, So I wasn't actually too happy that that's what I did, but at this point I had already come too far and I wasn't going back, so hopefully it's okay. And we finished the mani by applying our fast dry top coat. Do not make the same mistake as I did and not wait long enough for your black paint to dry, or you'll end up dragging the black paint everywhere like I did on my poor little strawberry. And that's the finished mani. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Bye!